Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June 1st, and we had plenty of walk-offs this week, and the Tigers are bad. Bad fans are bad. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is the third calendar month of the season. May is out, June is in, which means it's time to start watching for the All-Star game and which players will be participating in that this year. I think I know some off the top of my head that would be, and some that definitely won't be, but we'll never know with fan voting. But for today, we've got a nice agenda full of things to talk about. So before we get into all of that, let's get started with our series recap. Leading us off, we have the Angels and the Rays. Yandy Diaz, a 2-homer game. Aranda also goes deep. The Rays take it 8-5. In Game 2, Wade Meckler's second career home run is a grand slam. Yandy Diaz homers again. Trout homers. The Angels add 7 in the ninth with Joe Adell and Oswaldo Peraza homers. They win it 14-3, and in the road match, Aranda hits his 11th home run on the season, his second of the series, helping the Rays to a 5-2 victory, taking 2 of 3 from the Angels. Blue Jays and Oilers in the Bird Battle of the AL East for 4 games. Jimenez hits his 6th home run of the season, helping the Blue Jays to a 2-1 victory. Then in the second game, after Jackson Holliday, Pete Alonso, and Samuel Basallo all homer for the O's, the Jays come back from down 5 in the last 3 innings with a 2-run homer from Kazuma Okamoto, a 2-run home run from Charles McAdoo for his first career MLB hit and home run in his first ever game, and then a go-ahead 2-run double from Vladdy in the 8th. 6-5 Blue Jays, they steal that one, but the O's get their get-backs in Game 3 as Jeff Hoffman collapses in the 9th. Baltimore scores 5 runs to come back from a 4-run deficit. Pete Alonso walks it off with a RBI single. The O's win it 6-5, and then they go on to score 9 unanswered with the help of a Colton Cowser 3-run home run. They win it 9-5 as the Birds split the 4-game set 2 apiece. Red Sox and Guardians. The Guardians score 4 runs in the first, which is just enough to get them the win in the opener. They hold on to a 4-3 victory. In Game 2, the Red Sox score 6 in the ninth to put this game out of reach. Jarren Duran hitting a 3-run home run in a 9-1 victory. He then homers again in the third game. The Red Sox, another big inning, scoring 6 runs in the 7th. Another 9-4 victory for the Red Sox. They take 2 of 3 from the Guardians. Tigers and White Sox. The White Sox tied this game in the 9th. We go to extras with the Tigers score 1 run in the 10th, but the White Sox and Miguel Vargas call game a walk-off 2-run homer from Vargas. White Sox win it 4-3 in 10. In Game 2, Edgar Quiero, Colson Montgomery, and Andrew Benintendi all go deep in a 7-1 White Sox win. And then Colson Montgomery homers again in the third game, his 15th of the year in a 2-1 victory. The White Sox sweep the Tigers. Royals and Rangers, Brandon Nimmo, Nicky Lopez, Jock Peterson all going deep in a 9-1 Rangers win. The Rangers then came back in the second game with 3 runs in the 9th. Jock Peterson homering in that inning. Ezekiel Duran is the hero with the walk-off single. The Rangers come back in a 7-6 victory. That first game, by the way, was 9-1. Realize I didn't say that. In the last game, the Rangers score 4 runs in the first, which leads the way for the sweep. 6-3 Texas as they take all 3 from the Royals. D-backs and Mariners now. J.P. Crawford has 2 homers in this game. Julio goes deep as well as Luke Raley. The D-backs, though, stay in it. They put up a fight and end up tying it in the 9th, but it just delays the loss in extras as Randy Arozarena walks it off with the RBI double. 7-6 Mariners in extras, the final. In the second game, it's Luke Raley, it's Dominic Canzone, it's Colt Emerson, and once again, Julio homering in the first 3 innings. Those 4 homers helped the Mariners in a 5-1 victory. And in the last game, Cole Young, Dominic Canzone go deep we have another extra innings game and another Mariners walk-off. This time, it's Victor Robles with a walk-off single. Mariners win it 3-2 in 10, and they sweep the Diamondbacks. Brewers and Astros now. David Hamilton hits his first home run of the season. Jackson Chourio, he homers in this one as well. We go to extras though, and the Brewers take the lead on a sac fly. They hold on to win it 5-4 in 10. In game 2, Jeremy Pena, Christian Walker both going deep. 9-2 Astros, the final in that one. And in that last game, the rubber match, Jake Bauers, his 2-run home run is the only 2 runs of this game. Brewers win it 2-0 and take 2 of 3 from the Astros. Yankees and A's now. Paul Goldschmidt, Ryan McMahon, Ben Rice all go deep in an 8-2 Yankees win. In game 2, it's Shea Langoliers, it's Tyler Soderstrom, and it's Nick Kurtz all going deep for the A's in a 6-4 win. And in that last game, the Yankees put up 13 runs in just one inning. They had 12 straight batters reach before an out was even recorded in the inning. And by the way, all 13 runs were without a single home run. Very impressive. All the runs in the game for the Yankees in that inning. 13-8 the final. They take 2 of 3 from the A's. Padres and Nationals now. Late home runs from Ty France and Jackson Merrill helped the Padres edge the Nats in a 7-5 victory. Fernando Tatis Jr. finally has home run number 1 on the season. Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado also homer in this game, but the Nationals score 6 runs in the 7th. They come back and win it 9-4 the final. And in the last game, it's Luis Garcia Jr. and James Wood who both homer for the Nats in a 4-2 victory, taking 2 of 3 from the Padres. Marlins and Mets now. Owen Casey hits a game-time 2-run homer late to get this one tied. We go to extras, but the Mets hold off. MJ Melendez, the walk-off 2-run home run. The Mets win it 9-7 in 10. Jared Young hits his first home run of the season in that second game, as does Hayden Senger, who hits his first career MLB home run in a 6-1 Mets win. And in the last game, Carson Bench with a solo shot home run, Marcus Semien with a 2-run home run, and is capped off by a Juan Soto grand slam. 10-1 Mets as they sweep the Marlins. Braves and Reds now. Ronald Acuna Jr. leadoff home run. The Braves score 4 in the 6th to put this one away. 8-3 the final. In game 2, Ronald Acuna has not 1 but 2 more home runs in this series. Jorge Mateo goes deep, as does Matt Olson. The 4 Braves home runs lead them to a 5-2 victory. And in the last game, it's another leadoff home run for Ronald Acuna Jr. and 4 straight games for him with a home run. The Reds, though, score in 5 straight innings, including a home run from Eugenio Suarez. 6-4 Reds. They avoid the sweep by taking the last game. We go now, Cubs and Cardinals. Nelson Velasquez and Thomas Sagasay both hit their first home runs of the season. Ivan Herrera goes deep as well, as the Cardinals win it 6-5. PCA takes the overrated chance from the bleachers and hits one 444 feet into the tarps off section to shut up the Cardinals crowd. 6-1 Cubs in that one. And in the rub match, Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn, each getting 2 RBIs in a 5-1 Cardinals win. They take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. Twins and Pirates now. Cody Clemens, Trevor Leonard, both homer for the Twins. O'Neal Cruz hits a home run out of the stadium. Down by 1 in the 9th, it's Brian Reynolds. He is the hero for the Pirates. He hits the 2-run walk-off home run, flipping the script and stealing one away from the Twins. Pirates win it 6-5. In game 2, Spencer Horwitz, Jake Mangum, and O'Neal Cruz all go deep in a close back-and-forth contest that leads the Pirates' way 10-9 the final. And in the last game, Ryan O'Hearn goes deep, Nick Gonzalez goes deep. Brooks Lee had 2 homers in the game, but both were solo shots. The Pirates win it 9-3 and sweeping the Twins in the process. Giants and Rockies. The Rockies hit 3 homers in the last 2 innings to score 7 runs. Ezekiel Tovar made it a 1-run game with his home run. Hunter Goodman ties it with his home run, and then it's Ezekiel Tovar again for the walk-off 2-run home run. The Rockies win it 8-6 the final. Jake McCarthy and Kyle Carroll both go deep in an 8-3 Rockies win. And in the last game, the Giants pop off 7 runs in the 5th, including a Willy Adames grand slam. Bryce Eldridge and Jesus Rodriguez both homer later on. The Giants score in 8 of the 9 innings. 19-6 the final. They avoid the sweep. And lastly, we have the Phillies and the Dodgers, a little NLDS last year rematch. 4 solo shot home runs. It's Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Shohei Ohtani, and Will Smith. Dodgers take the opener 4-2. The Phillies in Game 2 take the lead with 3 runs in the 8th. Their dagger being an Edmundo Sosa 2-run home run for the lead. Phillies win it 4-3. And in the rub match, Ryan Ward hits his first career home run. Alex Freeland and Max Muncy both go deep as well for the Dodgers. 9-1 the final. The Dodgers take 2 of 3 from the Phillies. And that's your series recap. Right now, time for the game of the weekend, and we're going to Coors for the Giants and Rockies game 1. It was a good one. Bottom of the second, the Rockies are on the board first after a double steal and an error from Luis Arias allows Tovar to steal home to take a 1-0 lead. Top 3, Willy Adames. The sac fly ties it up 1-1. The Giants then pick up 2 more runs in the top of the 4th. Daniel Susick with the sac fly, and then Harrison Bader, the RBI single, making it 3-1 Giants. In the 8th, Bryce Eldridge hits another sac fly. 4-1 Giants. They are in control, but we go bottom 8th, where Ezekiel Tovar hits his 3rd homer of the season. A 2-run shot puts the Rockies within 1. The Giants, though, in the top of the 9th, they go out and get some insurance, starting off with a Rafael Devers RBI triple. Yeah, you heard that right. RBI triple for Devers. Matt Chapman with the RBI single. They get those 2 runs back. It's 6-3 Giants. But in the bottom of the 9th, with 2 runners on, Hunter Goodman hits his 13th home run of the season. That 3-run home run ties the game up at 6. 2 batters later, with a runner on, it's Ezekiel Tovar, who homered to make it a one-run game. In the 8th, he homers again to walk it off, his 4th of the season, a 2-run shot. Colorado comes back, scoring 5 runs in the 9th. They win it 8-6 the final, and they went on to win this series as well. That was a good one, and that is your game of the weekend here. Let's get into the baseball news, and we're going to start off by talking about this weekend and how crazy it was, because I don't remember the last time we had this many walk-offs in a 3-day sample size. We had Pete Alonso with an RBI single, Miguel Vargas a walk-off home run, Ezekiel Duran the walk-off single, Randy Arozarena a walk-off double, Victor Robles a walk-off single, MJ Melendez a walk-off home run, Brian Reynolds the walk-off home run, and then of course from your game of the weekend, Ezekiel Tovar with the walk-off home run. That's a total of 8 walk-offs that we saw, 2 from the Mariners. We had 5 of the 8 happen on the Friday, including all of the walk-off home runs plus 1, the Randy Arozarena double, but that was impressive. Then you had 2 more walk-offs on the Saturday, and it finished it off with 1 on the Sunday. But to have nearly, a third of your games finish in walk-off fashion on the Friday, and nearly a third of them being on walk-off home runs, 4 of the 5 walk-offs being home runs out of the 15 games that were played. That's pretty impressive. So shout out all these guys who got to be a hero for their teams: Alonso, Vargas, Duran, Tovar, Reynolds, Melendez, Robles, Rosarena. Shout out you 8. Good weekends for all of you guys. Got to be a hero, have your moment, and win your team ball game, which is pretty dang cool. We'll move on here, talk about quickly the Abner Uribe situation. If you missed the last episode, I talked about how Uribe got a kind of stern talking to for his emotional outburst throughout that series. He, in a 6-0 game, got a big strikeout with 2 runners on and, made some hip thrusting gestures towards the opposition's dugout. This was the St. Louis Cardinals. And I was just talking about it because it's kind of something you don't see in Major League Baseball like that without anything kind of happening. Well, something did happen. MLB took the precaution to suspend Uribe for 1 game. I saw some people online making kind of a joke out of it, being like, oh, he's just doing, heat of the moment kind of thing, which I understand. And listen, it's not as bad as some of the other things that goes down, some of the things that players do and whatever, but at the same time, too, you can't be doing that. Come on, there's showing emotion, and I agree, players should and do show emotion. I think it's important for the game, important for the fans to kind of see their players in like the way they should be. They shouldn't have to hold themselves back with fans, with the media. Like they should be their true selves. But there is always a line to every situation, especially in the society that we live in today. And that's just unacceptable. You can't be doing that. You want to, do a little, have a big moment and you want to show them up a little bit. Yeah, you show them up a little bit. You don't thrust into their dugout. Like there's the line. So I mean, for 1 game, like it's one thing if it was like off 4 game suspension or something crazy like that. For 1 game, just for that, it's completely fair. It's completely valid. There's nothing to take upon the chin here. Like it's just 1 game and it's deserved. So that's the situation there. So he probably already did serve that suspension. And we can put this behind us now. It's a done thing. Something we can't put behind us, though, and something that we do have to talk about is the Detroit Tigers. They have it bad right now. You see so much stuff being so negative to these Detroit Tigers, and I was curious how much of it is actually valid. Well, a lot of it actually is super valid. The Detroit Tigers last year, we have to go back to last year because this is where it started. It started last year after the All-Star break. The Tigers were first in the AL. They were first in the AL Central. They were America's team. They were hot. They were fun. They were young. They checked off all the boxes. They were playing great baseball. Everything was perfect. Taking the games they've played this year, as well as the games in the second half last year, since that All-Star break, they have gone 50 and 75. There were 25 games under 500. At the time of the All-Star break, they were 25 games over 500. They were 15 games ahead of the Guardians for first place in the AL Central. They let Cleveland get those 15 games back. They lost the division to those Guardians. They finished as a wild card game, as a wild card team, and were 13 games over 500. So they ended up losing 12 games between the All-Star break and the end of the season. And when you take a look at them this year, not only are they last in the AL Central, but they are tied for last in MLB with the Colorado Rockies. That is not a team you want to be with in anything. No offense to the Rockies, but they're just not good yet. And to say that the Tigers, who were, go back exactly 365 days, they would have been first in baseball. Like they were such a good team. They had such good players. And they're 11 and a half games back of the division that currently Cleveland leads. They're 7 games back of the wild card. And like, I want to use the saying like, yes, it's still early, but we're in June now. We're in the third month. It's not early anymore. It's not late into the season, but we're kind of in the middle of it right now. And there needs to be a turning point. And by the way, since Tarek Skubal has gone down with injury, they have yet to even win 10 games. And that was, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago almost, that the Tigers lost Skubal. So it's definitely been a rough stretch of baseball here for the Tigers. And you got to kind of wonder, like, what's wrong? Like, well, like I genuinely, like, you can't kind of pinpoint what's exactly wrong. Like, was Tarek Skubal that big of a impact on the Detroit Tigers? Like Dylan Dingler, he's been kind of having the best season for the Tigers this year. He's got 11 home runs. He has an OPS of 771. There's a couple of players who have an 800 OPS, those being Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal, who's had a nice rookie season so far, 286 batting average, 800 OPS on the dot, three doubles, not three doubles, 12 doubles, three triples, three homers, 21 RBIs. Like there are guys who have been producing. The offense has been kind of lackluster since they lost Gleyber Torres to an injury. Like you go up and down this list, and it's not anyone crazy that's doing it. Kerry Carpenter, his numbers aren't anything that pop off the page. Spencer Torkelson has 8 home runs, but he's an average of 214. He's kind of not doing much. So the offense has been stagnant at best. And then when you look at the pitching, I mean, they got Framber Valdez on this big signing. In 12 games, he's given up 33 earned runs. He has a 4.39 ERA. Jack Flaherty in 12 games, 12 starts, he's given up 34 earned runs, and he's pitched less innings than Framber did, so his ERA is a 5.81. Casey Mize, 9 games, he's been solid, 2.27 ERA. But like any one of the pitchers that have given up or who have started more than 10 starts this season, being Jack Flaherty, Framber Valdez, and then Keiter Montero, he's been very solid for them overall in 11 games started, 61 innings. He has a 3.69 ERA. He's been their best pitcher this year now that Scooble's been down. Scooble only made 7 starts, pitching 43 in the third innings. He had a 2.7 ERA, which, to be fair, by Scooble's numbers, even that's been kind of down for him. So without Scooble, you've got really no one being able to pitch. The bullpen hasn't been super solid. I mean, there are some guys here who have pitched nicely for them, but it's very small sample sizes. Anyone who has big innings for them, I mean, when you go off of innings, Framber Valdez, Keiter Montero, Flaherty, Mize, Scooble, like obviously their starters have more here. But then like Kyle Finnegan, 26 games, 26 and two-thirds innings, a 2.03 ERA. He's got 1 save for them. Their closer, Kenley Jansen, he's on injury list as well now. In 18 games, he had 15 innings. And yeah, he had 7 saves, but he also had a 4.8 ERA. Like that hasn't been great for Kenley Jansen either this year. So pitching, it's been bad. Hitting has been bad. Like it just really hasn't been great. And again, considering where they were last year at this point, considering the expectations that they had, like yes, losing Scooble is a major injury, but like at the same time, it's changed their outlook completely. And I mean, I don't know what the answer is for the Tigers if Max Clark is the answer to, call him up and stick him out there in center instead of Matt Vierling. Like, I don't know exactly what wants to be here. Kerry Carpenter just came off the IL, by the way, so they didn't have him in the lineup for a little bit, but he's back. But yeah, still no Glaber. They don't have Parker Meadows or Trey Sweeney or Javier Baez. All of those guys are on the IL. And then when you look at the IL and the pitchers, you got Tarek Skubal, Casey Mize, Reese Olson, Justin Verlander, Jackson Jobe. I mean, that's the starting 5 right there. That's a really good rotation. Kenley Jansen, Birch Smith. So it's been an injury-filled year. It's the guys who are playing haven't been playing great. Kevin McGonigal, yeah, he's doing well. Colt Keith, sure is. There's some talent there, I guess. But at the end of the day, Tigers are in a really tricky position. They're just falling further and further away from other teams in the AL, both in the Central and as a whole for the wild card. And you gotta feel for them because again, they were such a great team, such first place, one of the best, and then they start throwing things away. They end up finishing second in the division. Yeah, they get Cleveland in the ALDS. To be fair, I mean they were in a 16-inning game with the Mariners in Game 5 of the ALDS and a winner go home game. At any point, their offense could have clicked. They could have won that game, and they could have been in the ALCS with the Blue Jays. But that doesn't end up happening, and starting this year, they are once again stagnant at best. So we'll see if the Tigers have anything in them to turn it around or if this is the end of Detroit, because obviously with Skubal in his walk here, if they end up trading Skubal at the deadline, now you've got nothing. And now you don't have Skubal, you don't have your ace, and now you're what? The Detroit Tigers again. So not fun right now to be a Tigers fan, I'll tell you what. Moving on here, last thing I want to talk about is some fan behavior from the weekend. Now, I get some fans are passionate. I do, but I do have a problem with it. There is a line, and a limit to some things here. I have three instances of fan behavior: the good, the medium, and the bad. The good being the St. Louis Cardinals fans. I have nothing wrong with, PCA coming up to late and you're chewing overrated. He got the last laugh by hitting the home run. That's fun. That's good fan behavior because you guys are having fun. You want to jeer at a player. You can do that. Booing a player that is good, that destroys your team, that is part of being the fan herd. You have to, like, as a fan, if a guy constantly hits home runs against you and a guy is just, a constant problem if he's in your division and you don't like him for those reasons. You might like him as a player, but you can't like him because he's on the team of your favorite team. Sure, like booing him, that's normal. That's part of the fan behavior. Um, but you don't let it cross any other lines here. The medium here, we had a weird instance in the Blue Jays and Baltimore game yesterday where a fan threw a baseball at Jesus Sanchez, hitting him in the wrist, and he had to come out of the game. Now, first of all, wild injuries for the Blue Jays. They just keep getting more and more injuries. We don't know if this guy's going to end up on the IL or not. If he does, that would be crazy. At first, it was basically like, what the heck? Why would anyone do that? From the little camera that we had, we didn't have a great angle in the situation, but it looked like Jesus was talking to a fan when a ball came out of kind of towards the right of his peripherals and hit him directly on the wrist. A pretty strong throw, to be fair. Um, and there was obviously some outrage from Blue Jays fans because they've been going through it enough. Turns out it wasn't just any other fan, it was a kid, it was a child, and it was a misunderstanding between him and Jesus Sanchez because the game was going on. Like, it was pitcher was pitching. It was in between pitches, but he said something, they were talking about something. I think it was more of like next inning they'll like play a catch or something, or something was going on, but he was moving his glove around, which the kid understood it as, let me throw the baseball at him. And that's what he did during the game live. Now, I think they said it was like 12 years old or something. I don't have an issue with this. Look, it's a misunderstanding. The kid, a baseball player wants to play catch, you're going to play catch, right? MLB player. I understand that. But we're the parents, like, you gotta kind of contain this. Like, it's one thing if it was like in before and then warming up and like, it's freak thing that happened, sure, freak incident. But like, you're in a live game right now. The player should be concentrating. Sorry, his Sanchez, but focus on the game. But B, like, as a parent, like, you should have some sort of containment on your kids at the ballpark. You can't just let them run around, do whatever they want, yell whatever they want at the players, and most importantly, throw things at them. I don't care if it's a baseball, like, yeah, we're not going to blame the kid, but someone needs to take blame for this because it kind of can't happen in a major league game. So, I mean, parents, wake up, like, even like, because a kid, he's gonna wind up his throw a little bit. Like, the pitch, it was enough to injure his wrist. It was enough force on the throw. And again, 12 years old, that's, a kid, yes, but it's also, you're getting into your teenage years there. You can tell when a kid's gonna throw something on the field. And if you're a parent and you're nearby, you stop them from doing that. Like, it's not, rocket science. And also, at 12 years old, you should be conscious enough to, like, tell them ahead of the time, like, hey, we're going to a game, blah, blah, blah. Let's not do anything. Let's not throw things at players. And, like, yeah, in hindsight, it's obvious you don't throw things at players, but you still, like, as parents, you should still kind of confirm that and make sure that that doesn't happen. So, like, freak incident as a whole, I thought I would talk about it. Like, yeah, I'm not upset at the kid, but at the same time, too, it sucked that, like, a player had to go out because of that. It's a weird situation. The really bad fan behavior over the weekend happened with, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers fans. Now, these fans, I gotta be honest right now, they're some of my least favorite in the baseball world right now. I have a lot of issues with some Dodgers fans. Not all Dodgers fans. There are some Dodgers fans who are obviously very delightful, who are, supportive of their team and have been for years. But there's some other fans that have problems, and it happened again over the weekend here with Mr. Tanner Scott. Now, of course, Tanner Scott, if you're not sure what happened with him, the Dodgers signed him last year. I believe it was a 4-year deal. It was a big contract for Tanner Scott, who was coming off a really nice year with the Padres. And he definitely had his problems last year. Definitely some issues from Tanner Scott and his, delivery, his mechanics. It was off. He was having a really bad year. This year, so far, he has been solid. Like, really, really solid. 24.2 innings, in 26 games. He's picked up 5 saves from them in that process. He's only given up 6 runs all year, a 2.19 ERA, and those 6 runs have only come in 3 different games, which means he's played 23 games where he's given up 0 runs. He kind of did his job. So Taylor Scott this year has been good. Has he been maybe the contract worth? I don't know. It's not for me to decide that, but as a pitcher and as a player, he's been very solid. His worst game of the year did happen, though, against Philly over the weekend here in that game, too. The Dodgers had a 3-1 lead entering the 8th inning, and Tanner Scott gave up a run, followed by the 2-run home run from Edmundo Sosa. Phillies end up winning 4-3. The loss goes to Tanner Scott, his first loss of the season, and some fans took to social media to start harassing both him and his wife. His wife actually had to go on her story and post disgusted by the Dodgers fans' behavior, calling him out and calling out the kid. He has a little child. And the fans are saying, I hope you get to see your son again tonight. You better sleep with one eye open. Those are the kind of comments that they were getting on both of their Instagram posts, both the wife and Tanner Scott as well. And that kind of stuff is just so unacceptable. It happens from time to time. Like, no. And it usually happens with Dodgers fans. Like, what are you talking about? You guys have nothing to complain about. You guys are 8-2 in your last 10 games. You have a 5.5 game lead over the Padres. You're like the second best team in baseball coming off back-to-back World Series. And just because you lost one regular season game in May, you're going to go and harass your pitcher and his family for what reason? And this was against the Phillies. Dodgers fans had no issue in the postseason when Oren Kerkering made that wild throw that lost the Phillies this series. The Dodgers won it on that series, and they were taking to social media being like, oh, I feel bad for Kirk. Like, I'm happy we won, but I feel bad for Kerkering, blah, blah, blah. Like, they were able to show sympathy for opposing players when it benefits the Dodgers team, but when it's their own team and them losing, they go on the attack against their players and the families of those players. That stuff is just so mind-boggling, unacceptable from those fans. And like, if you are someone who does this, or if you know someone who does this, take their phone away, get them off social media. Like, that's not the purpose of social media, to spread that kind of negativity and that kind of hate. And as a pitcher, like, if I'm playing Major League Baseball, if I'm a Major League relief pitcher, and I have a bad day, and I get home to my family, and my wife is telling me that I'm receiving death threats and they're threatening my son, I'm going to be shit the next game too, because I have to worry about being so perfect to save my kid's life. Like, that kind of stuff you don't think about. Like, people just, like, that kind of fan behavior, it's mind-boggling. It's awful. And again, it's not even like he's been bad all season long. Jeff Hoffman has had a really, really, really tough year for the Blue Jays, but we have none of that. He has 3 kids, a wife. They're not doing any of that. The Blue Jays fans know that there are limits. Yeah, you want to talk about Hoffman in a negative light. You say, don't be the closer anymore, stop pitching. You get word when he comes into games. Sure, that can happen, but it's not like Jays fans are going to his wife and being like, oh, your husband's shit. You're lucky he has 3 kids, but like, what if they were, like, it's none of that. Like, it just shouldn't happen. And for Tanner Scott, I feel so sorry for his family. I feel so sorry for the Dodgers organization as a whole. But like, these are the fans that we have to stop. We shouldn't allow these fans into the game. That's a safety hazard. You should have to show your DM history when entering a stadium to make sure you're not reaching out in a negative way to players before the games or during or after. Like you just can't have that. It's so unacceptable, and I want to leave it there before I lose more of my head. But like, just like, be better, man. Like, this is pathetic, man. Dodgers fans, some of y'all pathetic. You guys are ass. Anyways, let's get into the hot and colds because I'm done with talking about that. The hot players from the week, there were some hot ones, including Ronald Acuna Jr., who was 7 for 21 with 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, 5 runs, 8 walks, a 1.565 OPS. Slightly trailing behind him was Yordan Alvarez, who was 8 for 26 with a double, 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, 8 runs, 5 walks, a 1.347 OPS. Yordan Alvarez had 4 home runs in a series. Acuna had 4 home runs in a series. So both of them very similar weeks. Ian Happ with 10 for 31 with 3 doubles, 3 homers, 11 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.054 OPS. Jonathan Aranda was 11 for 21, a double, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, 6 runs, 6 walks, a 1.607 OPS. And then Ben Rice, 12 for 26, 4 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, 11 RBIs, 8 runs, a 1.418 OPS. On the cold side of things, Bryce Terang was hitless, going 0 for 19 with 10 strikeouts. Austin Martin was 1 for 22 with 5 strikeouts. Bryson Stott, 1 for 21 with 2 Ks. Dalen Lyle, 2 for 23 with 4 Ks. And Ryan Waldschmidt, 3 for 23 with 10 Ks. That is your hot and colds from the week here. We go into injury updates, and there's quite a list here. Giants, Tyler Mahle, 15-day IL with a strained hamstring. Yuri Perez from the Marlins, 15-day IL with a strained gracilis. He is expected to miss 8 weeks. He got this while he was stretching during his start against the Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez, 10-day IL with a strained hamstring. He's expected to miss about a month. Casey Mize on the 15-day IL with a strained groin. Craig Kimbrell on the 15-day IL with a strained wrist. Just kind of got into it for the Rays, and now he's on the IL. Marlins using another starter in Jansen Junk, 15-day IL with shin inflammation. He's expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Harrison Bader on the 10-day IL with a plantar fasciitis. Sorry, doctors. Luis Severino, 15-day IL with a strained shoulder. Bailey Ober, 15-day IL with elbow inflammation. Connor Griffin goes on the 10-day IL with a strained forearm. And the saddest of all, Munetaka Murakami for the White Sox. He will land on the 10-day IL with a strained hamstring and is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Another thing to notice, on Sunday, yesterday, Elly De La Cruz left his game after hitting what would have been an easy double. He pulled up to first kind of slow, kind of limping, and left the game shortly after. So not sure if he's going to be due for an IL stint, but that would be very tough for the Reds if it is that. Moving on here, we have our outstanding performances, and I gotta say, we got one of the weakest outstanding performances of the year. Wasn't a lot of great pitching performances, let's just say that. Brian Bayo for the Red Sox, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Justin Robleski, 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 9 Ks. Brian Wu, 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 9 Ks. Ben Brown, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Kyle Bradish, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Kaider Montero, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 Ks. Jack Leiter, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, but 10 strikeouts for him. And lastly, of course, Jacob Mezorowski putting in his final bid for the May Pitcher of the Month. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 Ks. I have no idea if it's going to be Mezorowski or Sanchez that wins the NL Pitcher of the Month. Both were so damn good here. That brings us now to our standings check here for the start of June. The Rays still holding off the Yankees in the AL East. The Rays are 36-20. The Yankees are 36-23. So the Yankees have played 3 more games and have lost those 3 games. They're a game and a half back of the Rays and 7.5 games up on a wild card spot. So they're still in good position there. Blue Jays, Baltimore, and Red Sox still all under 500. Blue Jays were at 500 for a second. They were 29-29 before losing those next 2 games against Baltimore. They are in 3rd, Baltimore in 4th, Red Sox in 5th. In the AL Central, it's become kind of a two-horse race here between the Guardians and the Chicago White Sox on a 5-game winning streak. They are a game back of the Guardians, who have played 2 more games than the White Sox and have won both those games. Guardians are 34 and 27, while the White Sox are 32 and 27. The rest of the Central is not been playing good. The Twins 27 and 33 on a 5-game losing streak. The Royals 22 and 37, back-to-back sweeps. They're on a 6-game losing streak. And the Tigers, well, we talked about how bad they are. They are on a 4-game losing streak and tied with the worst record in baseball at 22 and 38. In the AL West, we finally have the Mariners starting to take in form. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They're 8-2 in the last 10, and they are back above 500 for the first time since March 30th. They're 31 and 29. They have come back, stormed back, and have taken first place in the AL West. The A's 28 and 31, same as the Texas Rangers. Astros just a little bit back behind them at 27 and 34, although they've been playing pretty good. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10. Angels in last place. In the NL East, the Braves once again are the first team to 40 wins. They were the first team to 20, the first team to 30, and are now the first team to 40. They are staying the best team in baseball with the largest divisional gap, still 9 games ahead of the Nationals, who are in second place. That's pretty impressive. Phillies in third. They are 30 and 29. The Nats are 31 and 29. So it's only by half a game between those two there. The Mets have won 4 straight. They're kind of, getting a little bit back into where they should be, but still a lot of work to go. The Marlins have lost 5 straight. They are last in the East by half a game before the Mets. They're 26 and 34 for the Miami Marlins. In the NL Central, still all 5 teams are above 500 in the month of June. Who would have thought? Brewers in first, 35 and 21. They're 4.5 up on the Cardinals, who are 31 and 26. The Pirates, after their sweep, are 32 and 28, tied with the Cubs at 32 and 28. And just a game back of them is the Reds, who are 30 and 28, still above 500, but yet somehow still last in the division. Which brings us to the NL West, where the Dodgers are once again still the best team. They're 38 and 21. They're 5.5 up on the Padres, who have been playing a pretty bad brand of baseball recently. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10. 32 and 26. They're still in a wild card position, as is the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are 31 and 27, just a game back of the Padres. Giants 23 and 36, and the Rockies, same with the Tigers, 22 and 38. So the division winners, as it stands, are the Tampa Bay Rays, the Cleveland Guardians, the Mariners, the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. The biggest gaps include the Braves with a 9-game lead, the Dodgers with a 5.5-game lead, the Brewers with a 4.5-game lead. So the NL has pretty big gaps. The AL gaps, 2.5 games for the Mariners, 1.5 games for the Rays, and 1 game for the Guardians. So it's much more closer in the AL than it is in the NL. That brings us now to our upcoming series. I was going to say our standings check. We just did the standings check. The upcoming series for the week here. The Baltimore Orioles are in Boston to take on the Red Sox. The Tigers are going to play the Rays in the Trop. If things couldn't get worse for the Tigers, they're going to a hellhole where the Rays just find ways to win at home. Guardians at the Yankees, White Sox at the Twins, Rockies at Angels, Pirates at Astros, Mets at Mariners, Padres at Phillies. That's a fun series. Marlins at Nationals, Blue Jays at Braves, Royals at Reds, A's at Cubs, Rangers at Cardinals, Giants at Brewers, and we round it off with the Dodgers at the D-backs. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your series to watch this week. And that is our episode here today, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, it was a full agenda's worth talking about the walk-offs, the suspension, how bad the Tigers are, and how bad some fans are, specifically Dodgers fans sometimes, man. Like, that is just... I digress because I don't want to keep talking about it here, but thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, so much. If you've gotten this far in the episode, I appreciate you, as I always do. And yeah, we are in June, so all-star stuff happening soon. We are getting into the nitty-gritty. We should have the players of the month for May coming to you on Friday, so stay tuned for that. If anything happens, worst case scenario, it would be next week, this Monday on the 8th would be the players of the month for May. So stay tuned for one of those 2 days. These episodes coming up here. But yeah, we're getting into the middle of the season here. You got NBA finals, we're getting Stanley Cup finals. Like we're at the end of those playoffs. FIFA World Cups rounding around. So there's a lot of things happening in the sports world. But of course, baseball stands alone as the best. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you on Friday.